Have you ever wondered what it really means when we say the Bible is inspired by God? Many people accept that idea without hesitation, but misunderstandings still creep in, even among believers. It's important to grasp what inspiration actually involves and what it doesn't. The Bible is inspired by God in all it teaches, but that doesn't mean every part must be read in an overly literal or modern way. Let's look at what biblical inspiration includes and what it doesn't. A common mistake is assuming that every part of a parable must be a factual detail. In Luke 18:2, Jesus tells of a judge who neither feared God nor cared what people thought. He isn't introducing a historical figure, but a character in a story meant to teach a lesson. Parables use fictional elements to highlight spiritual truths. Another misunderstanding is thinking that everything the Bible records is doctrinal truth, when in fact, some things are simply reported accurately. In Genesis 3:4, the serpent says, "You will not surely die." That's a lie. But the Bible truthfully records that the serpent said it. Accurate reporting doesn't always equal endorsement. Some believe the Bible never uses exaggeration, but it clearly does. Psalm 6:6 says, "I flood my bed with weeping," a vivid way of expressing sorrow, not a literal event. In Luke 14:26, Jesus says, "Anyone who doesn't hate their family can't be his disciple." That's strong language, meant to stress the cost of following him, not a command to harbor hatred. It's also mistaken to assume that every statement about God or creation is meant to be scientific or literal. In Job 38:7, "The morning stars sang together" is poetic, not a scientific claim. Hebrews 4:13 describes all creation as laid bare before God. Again, metaphorical language describing his all-seeing nature. Some expect every factual detail to match modern technical standards. In 2 Chronicles 4:2, a round basin is said to be 10 cubits across and 30 cubits in circumference. That's not mathematically exact by modern terms, but it was accurate by the standards of the time. Ancient writers often used rounded numbers. When Joshua tells the sun to stand still in Joshua 10:12, it's described from an observational viewpoint. The sun appears to stop from the people's perspective. The Bible often reflects how things looked to those experiencing them, rather than giving modern scientific explanations. Quotations of scripture aren't always word for word, but they stay true to meaning. Acts 4:25 quotes Psalm 2:1 faithfully, even though the wording isn't identical. The Bible emphasizes meaning over exact phrasing. Also, not every verse keeps a single application. Hosea 11:1 refers to Israel, but Matthew 2:15 applies it to Jesus. That's not contradiction. It's layered fulfillment. The Bible often shows how one truth can have multiple levels of meaning. The Gospels give different perspectives on the same events. These aren't contradictions, but complementary angles. What a biblical writer personally believed isn't the standard of truth. What's affirmed in the text is what matters, as seen in Matthew 15:26. Scripture doesn't claim to say everything about everything. It offers what's sufficient. As 1 Corinthians 13:12 reminds us, "Now we see only a reflection as in a mirror, then we shall see face to face." Finally, quoting someone doesn't mean approving everything they say. Titus 1:12 quotes a Cretan prophet, but only affirms one part as true. So how do we know what's inspired and what isn't a misunderstanding? Because the Bible interprets itself. It uses poetry, exaggeration, parable, round numbers, and ancient views, all to communicate divine truth in human terms. That's the power of inspiration. God speaks eternal truths through real human voices.